Welcome, everyone, to the L7C Podcast NFL edition. We are back with our bi-weekly NFL shows. We have the NFL expert and the producer with us, Mr. Justin Ackendale. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well, brother. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. We're already in week 5.
Yep, week 5 coming up this week. Tugging along, it's going.
It is going. It is going. So you already know how we do it here. Justin picks his top games. We review those games. We preview the top games, give our thoughts on some things going on in the league, and then Justin hits you with a couple good bets that you might be able to make some money off of, and we get right into it. So, Justin, man, what games are we recapping for the L7C fans this week?
We are doing the Sunday night game from last week, Chiefs Bucks. We are doing the Monday night game yesterday, 49ers Rams, and we are doing the 1:00 Sunday game, Buffalo and Baltimore. That's what we're doing.
Okay. Where do you want to start?
We will start with the Chiefs and Bucks because I got a flow of this. I wrote the notes in order of what I want to do.
Okay. Okay.
He's gonna
Then take it away, man.
We was gonna go on the line, yeah. So the Chiefs went to Tampa to play the Buccaneers Sunday night football. Tampa was in Miami, working out. Practicing that week because the hurricane that went down there. Yeah, Chiefs came out hot. Chiefs won the game 41-13. 41-31, my fault. Chiefs were spotted 7 points because the Bucks fumbled on the opening kickoff, and then it just spiraled out of control. That first quarter was not good for the Bucks at all. Bucks to answer back with a field goal, and then the Chiefs take their second drive, score at the beginning of the second quarter was 21-3, and then the score that made it 21-3, Patrick Mahomes just did some Patrick Mahomes type shit. He was literally getting flushed out to the right, should have been sacked, dips him, flips around, and just tosses the ball to Clyde Edwards-Helaire for a touchdown. It was just crazy. And then after that play, after that touchdown, Tom Brady gets sacked by Snead for the Chiefs, sack fumble. Chris Jones recovers it. He just didn't know. Tom Brady just didn't feel it coming, and then that just set up the rest of the game. I mean, the Bucks really didn't play that bad. If they didn't have those 2 turnovers in the first quarter, it would have been a closer game. So I would love to see like how the Bucks would have done if they didn't give those turnovers in the first quarter of the game.
When I was watching this game, especially, there was no point where I thought the Bucks were going to win. Like, there was no point. Like you said, after the spot and after that strip fumble, like when Brady got smacked, I was like, yeah, they're not coming back from this. And like you said, they didn't play bad. It was just those turnovers. But against a team like Kansas City, you can't give them more possessions. You can't.
No, you can't. You're thinking in the second quarter, like, hey, maybe Tampa might be able to come back. I mean, it was in halftime. Going into halftime, it was 28-17. So you thought maybe if the Bucks can get some stops or something, they might be able to do something and come back, but it just wasn't going to happen. The Chiefs were on a different level last night. They were clicking, like everything was working. Their run game was working. Tampa couldn't get to the run game because of the deficit that they put themselves in at the beginning of the first quarter. So yeah, that's how that game ended up going.
Yeah, because with Tampa Bay's defense, you're not supposed to be able to run the ball on them, but Kansas City was able to run the ball on Tampa Bay.
Yeah, man. Well, who's the rookie? Isaiah Picard? Is that his name for Rucker? Mm-hmm. Oh my God, he was getting me fired up. That dude was running hard. He was talking shit on the field. Like, he was getting me hyped up. Like, he might be coming for some touches from Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You might have to watch out for him.
Which actually, crazy enough, I think that would actually benefit them in a way, because then, I mean, you could do the same thing that another team, the Green Bay Packers, do with their 2 running backs. Obviously, Jones is the top back, but he trades time with Dillon, but Jones is a better pass catcher than him. So you could start having them both out there at the same time and run some draws for that running back and passes to Clyde. That adds another thing to the offense.
Yeah, I'm definitely adding a weapon at running back, and this is what Andy Reid does. Like, Andy Reid typically always has like a good running back they picked up out of nowhere. I remember Brian Westbrook from the Eagles way back in the day. Like
Mhm.
this is what Andy Reid does. Like when he has a running back that can like catch out of the backfield and like make some things happen and takes his offenses to a whole totally different level. So if this Picard dude can like keep it up and Clyde's Edward Hilaire can keep it up and the Chiefs have a running game along with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and all the stuff that he can do with his receivers, woo! Watch out.
Obviously,
AFC.
the Patrick Mahomes, like to Clyde, that was just Mahomes magic. But to me, that touchdown with the tight end, that was pure Andy Reid. Because when I first saw it, I thought they snapped the ball too early when the dude was in motion. So I thought that was a miscue. I didn't know that was the design play for the tight end to be in motion. It gets hiked to him and he just runs it up the middle. That was
Yeah,
genius.
yeah, they have ran that play before. Like Andy Reid on Sunday night was absolutely in his bag with some of the plays that he was calling in the red zone. And shit, that's what the NFL is about. Like getting touchdowns in the red zone, coming up with some creative plays to get the ball in the end zone. Because we're going to talk about the next game, the Monday night game, and the Rams. That's literally what they couldn't do is score in the red zone.
Yeah, and then just one more thing on the Patrick Mahomes, because a lot of people were saying, obviously, Reaction Monday, that's what we call in football, that everyone's trying to find like that next anointed quarterback, and you forget how good this dude really is. People thought he was going to drop off because Tyreek Hill was gone. He's playing well.
That's just what we do. We just try to find the next guy, and Patrick Mahomes still is the guy. Like he is still here, and he is not to be messed with. We thought him. Shit, I thought it a little bit. Shit, I didn't pick him to win the AFC West, which was an idiotic move by me. But I thought they were going to fall off a little bit without Tyreek Hill. But it seems like without Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes doesn't have that pressure of like, you know, the Chiefs with him like every quarter they're taking a deep shot to him. Like they had to by like bylaws of nature. Like we
Yeah.
have to get Tyreek Hill the ball. We have to find a way to get him loose deep for a touchdown. And without that, Patrick Mahomes can just like in the game last night, he was everyone was getting love.
Yep.
Everyone was getting love. Juju caught some passes. Travis Kelce was catching the passes. MVS was getting in there. Mekhi Hardman caught some. So yeah, like when Patrick Mahomes doesn't have to worry about force feeding one guy, it's dangerous.
Justin, what's the outlook for these two teams before we move on? Next 5 games.
I think the Bucks. I think the Bucks will be fine. They just got blitzed by Kansas City, turning the ball over 2 quick times and gave up 14 points real quick. So I think they'll be fine. They got Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Carolina the next 3 weeks, and then they got Baltimore and the Rams after that. So they got 3 wins. They're about to win the next 3 straight games before Baltimore. And then the Chiefs, they got Vegas on Monday Night Football, Buffalo in 2 weeks. That's gonna be a game we're gonna be covering. And then San Francisco bye week in Tennessee. So both these teams, I still think they're gonna be in the mix in January.
Okay. Speaking of that, Monday night, you had the Rams and the 49ers. 49ers won 24-9. What did you see in that game?
The Rams couldn't do shit offensively. I mean, it was just terrible. I mean, Stafford was sacked 7 times. The Rams had 2 starting linemen that were out, which really didn't help. Cooper Kupp and Tyler Higbee, the tight end, caught 24 of Stafford's 32 completions. Only those 2 guys were winning in routes and getting open. The main takeaway that I got from watching this game was they need another guy who can get open. They only got Cooper Kupp and Tyler Higbee in the middle. They don't have guys who can get open. They're really missing OBJ. Allen Robinson was a complete bust. You know what? It's crazy because like we thought Allen Robinson had 1,000-yard seasons with like Blake Bortles and Mitch Trubisky with shitty quarterbacks, and you give him Matt Stafford, and he hasn't done absolutely anything. And then when I was researching the game, that pick that Stafford had, it was the pick 6 in the 4th quarter. They're only down by 8. They were still in the game. Rams went to the red zone 3 times, kicked 3 field goals, couldn't punch it in. Couldn't punch it in. And that play where he threw the pick 6, he's so in the mode of like get the Cooper Kupp, guy get the Cooper Kupp. He's the only one who can do anything for me. the corner and the safety were up on the ball for that little screenplay. So he should have saw that and then checked it to the other side of the running back. But he just like, I gotta get the Cooper Cup. I gotta force that shit. He forced it and it was a pick six. So yeah, I think the Rams are in deep trouble right now. Like they haven't been playing well all season. I mean, they've been getting wins up until this point, but that game yesterday really like cracked them up. I know Shanahan kind of really owns McVay, but like still, like I thought they were going to come out a little better than that, and just wasn't it. Rams averaged 3.5 yards a play. It was just bad offensive football.
So a couple of things. One, the Rams can't run the ball at all. They can't run the ball at all. They have no running game. Zero. Nada. So then you take that out. So obviously they're going to be throwing it. And like we talked about Robinson, I don't want to know if it's really a bust or is it the play calling? Like, are they calling plays for him? And Matt's just like, F it, I'm just going to go to Cooper anyway. Like, how much? Because I feel like there's some play calling involved in that too.
I don't think it's play calling. I don't think he's winning on his routes. I don't think he is getting open. Like, I don't think Matt Stafford's just eyeing Cooper Kupp. I mean, Cooper Kupp's probably always his first read, but I know he doesn't really have time right now at the moment to really scan the field and see what else is out there. But no, I don't think it's a play calling issue. I think it's an Allen Robinson not getting open issue. Like that's what it is.
Because like you said, he was getting 1,000 yards with quarterbacks who aren't the same caliber of Matthew Stafford. And just no disrespect, this dude's one of the craziest players I've ever seen because he's not the fastest, he's not the strongest, but they scheme him in a way that Cooper is somehow always open. They can get some plays for Robinson. They can run some dig routes, something, run some screens, anything to get him going. Like they're not even getting him the ball in creative ways. I've seen them get the ball to Cooper Kupp on freaking wide receiver sweeps where they just toss him the ball like a running back. And I just feel like I do agree that he's not performing, but I also think that there's no plays getting called for him. And they got to figure something out at the running back because they got nothing. That line is bad.
The line's bad. They're really missing Andrew Whitworth. We're going to get into the preview. I think they're going to run the ball more against the Cowboys, but yeah, you got to remember San Francisco's defense. They got the best defense in the league right now. DVOA, my analytics site, Football Outsiders, they're ranked first in DVOA. So like the 49ers are also, including the Cowboys, are one of the only teams in the league to not give up more than 20 points in a game this season. So like 49ers defense is legit, and I was way more emotional about this yesterday. I did bet on the Rams like a fucking idiot. But I kind of calmed down. Like the 49ers are a good defensive team. Offensively, Jimmy G, that game last night, it was just a classic Jimmy G performance. Like he just did what he had to do to not fuck it up. That 57-yard catch and run by Deebo Samuel, if that ball was on target, because Jimmy G threw it kind of high, and he went up and get it. The corner jumped it. If that ball was like in the numbers, like where it should have been, it would have been pick six. So it's just shit like that. Like he just does enough not to fuck it up. And the 49ers have a great defense, which is compounded on the Rams not being able to do anything with the ball. It didn't help that they had to play the 49ers this week with the way the offense has been looking.
Wait, you bet and took the Rams?
Like an idiot. Bro, it was bad.
The only reason I was just questioning that, because obviously I think people forget that and I'm blanking on the corner's name, if the San Francisco corner picks off Matt Stafford, which was literally in his chest and he dropped it, the Rams don't go to the Super Bowl.
49ers in the Super Bowl. I forgot that when I took the Rams. I'm like, oh, the Rams won the NFC Championship game. Oh, it's the divisional matchup. The Rams were underdogs, so I didn't think they didn't have to win. They just didn't have to get their asses whooped like they did. They just had to not lose by more than 2 points. Yeah, and they got their asses whooped.
Yeah, because just like you said, I mean, Shanahan owns McVay. Even like when we were talking about the 49ers last year, there was a point early in the season they were in trouble, and then they just start going off and started winning. And then like that Rams game at the end of the year to get in the playoffs. And obviously, you know the rest. They're one pick away from going to the Super Bowl. So it's like, I didn't think those teams I thought they were very evenly, before the game, like they're evenly matched on paper, quote unquote. But I mean, the 49ers, you can tell too, and the players have talked about it. They love Jimmy G. They love that man.
Yeah, they fuck with him. They definitely like get up to play for their guy. But
Yeah.
like I said in previous podcasts, there's just a ceiling with Jimmy G. Like,
Oh yeah. But the ceiling is the NFC Championship game.
yeah, the ceiling is the NFC Championship. I mean, with that team, with that defense, I mean, yeah, you just need Jimmy G to not fuck it up. You
Because
saw how
remember
they
last year, Kittle was gone for most of the year. We always
yeah,
forget that. Like when they were struggling, Kittle was out.
Kittle was gone earlier this year, and he didn't really do nothing the last game too. Jimmy G hasn't really been looking for him. The main reason also why I took the Rams is I thought they were going to be able to exploit the 49ers not having Trent Williams here, their left tackle. Their left tackle got hurt. I thought that because I'm a Cowboys fan. Every time we don't have Tyron Smith, we look like dog shit. So that's what I was hoping on. That's what I was betting for, and it didn't turn out that way. You know what happens? Should be happening, man.
You're looking at these next 5 for the Rams. Obviously, they got Dallas, they got Carolina, they got a bye. Then they got San Francisco again. Then they got Tampa Bay. And then the 49ers are at Carolina, at Atlanta. I mean, and then Kansas City and the Rams. I do also want to say something, too, about why these divisional games are just super, super important. Because they're basically a game and a half. If you win, you get the one win. And you're taking away something from your divisional person. Like that's what those games are so important, especially with the NFC West, who people forgot about. All 4 of the teams in the NFC West are 2-2. So these games really, really matter.
Yeah, the good thing for the Rams is thank God they're playing the 49ers again in a couple weeks. So they don't have to they get them after a bye. So hopefully they'll be able to come up with some shit and not get swept by them. They still get them in October.
That'd be bad.
Yeah, they get them in October. I would hate for them to have to play them again later in the season with more stakes on the line, and they end up losing that game.
Right. And then you look at the 49ers, man. Carolina, that's a win. Atlanta, that's a win. Then you got Kansas City, then right before the Rams. So, but with that defense, you can beat anybody.
Yeah, it's going to get ugly next week against the Panthers.
Justin, you had the Ravens and the Bills, which was a game that we talked about. I mean, this game had a very controversial call on the size of what they should have done, but go ahead.
Yeah, this game was something. It was raining early in the game, and it got really bad. I mean, really bad in the second half. Like it was raining sideways. Bills won the game 23-20. Ravens got an early touchdown in the first quarter after a Josh Allen pick. The Ravens score on their next possession. It's 14-3.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen does a pick, Ravens score. Bills answers with a field goal. Ravens score again. Then Ravens get a field goal at the get another field goal to make it 17-3 in the 17-3 going into the second quarter. Bills get a touchdown in the second quarter, so it's 17-10. So 17-10 going into halftime. Then the second half, shit gets real constipated on offense. It's raining sideways. It's bad. Defenses are just getting pressure the whole game long. Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, those two can really move. Like they handle pressure probably. Those two of Mahomes probably handle the rush better than anyone else in the league. So third quarter is going on. Bills tie the game at 20-20 in the third quarter. Beginning of the fourth, Lamar Jackson throws a pick. Bills go 3 and out the next drive. There's 13 minutes left in this game at 3 and out. The Ravens have the ball. The Ravens are driving. They're getting help from Buffalo penalties, and they're just converting. They're driving down the field. Long ass fucking drive. I mean, dumb ass long.
That was over 9 minutes.
Yeah. I was getting to that. It's 4 minutes left. They get the ball all the way to the 2. It's fourth down. It's fourth and down 2. Tie game, 20-20. The Ravens go for it. Snap the ball. Lamar Jackson gets pressure instantly. Duvernay's in the corner of the end zone. He's wide open, but there's so much pressure that like Lamar Jackson just throws it. He telegraphs it. Jordan Poyer sees it, picks it off in the end zone. And then the Bills literally choke out the clock and then kick the field goal to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
After watching the game, shout out to NFL Plus. I was able to see every single play in 40 minutes. That shit
Yes,
was
sir.
amazing. That shit was nice. So I was able to see the game. Typically, I like to go with the analytics, but I also know like football, like you gotta go with like situations too. And Buffalo really wasn't like it was raining sideways at this point. Like it is pouring down rain. The Bills weren't like the Bills did get a little bit more momentum in the second half, but the offense like wasn't killing you. You were getting pressure on Josh Allen. Like you were frustrating Josh Allen enough. I think you could have kicked that field goal and played defense. And the worst that could have happened is they either scored a touchdown or they kick the field goal. And you go into overtime, and then anything can happen in overtime. But I see the analytics. It feels like a nicer day, and then like they come back all in the fourth quarter. I mean, Josh Allen is killing you, and it's 2020, and you want to go up by a 7 to essentially end the game. I get that, but it was the fact that Buffalo really wasn't doing anything on offense. So I don't know why you don't just kick there and trust your defense in that situation.
So I think it's one of those things like when Harbaugh said, "Is like, well, if we would have got it, well, that's true, but this is the NFL. One play literally changes your entire game, season, yada yada. You didn't get it and you lost." So my thinking is very similar to yours with the analytics things. Like, sure, if you get a touchdown, yada yada, but it's not like your kicker is ass. You probably have the best kicker in NFL history in Justin Tucker. So you're going to get 3 points. That changes how Buffalo approaches things because since you didn't get it, Buffalo's like, I mean, if they don't score, then it's just going to go to overtime. So you have that reassurance. But if you at least go up 3, you got to force Buffalo to panic a little bit because they're like, oh, we at least have to get in field goal range because they got all the way down and burnt that clock too. But they didn't get any of that. So it's just one of those things too, like where you showed you don't trust your defense. From a psychological thing, it's just like, all right, your head coach does not trust you. We all saw it. That's what everyone was talking about. From Sunday to today, the Ravens defense cannot be trusted. I saw Marcus Peters get pissed. A whole bunch of things. So it's like they got to figure it out because everyone's talking about from our younger days. This is not the Ravens defense of old. What happened to the Ravens defense? Why do they keep giving up these leads and yada yada? They got to figure out that defense because I know I talked about the importance of divisional games. In the AFC, there's really no room for error. Like you can't be out here just losing because there's going to be probably 2 teams that win 10 games this year in the AFC and won't make the playoffs. So every game counts when you're playing those top AFC teams against each other because you don't know what those tiebreakers are going to be come end of December, January.
Yeah, we definitely. I just hate these type of conversations because we play a result.
Yeah, you play the result. Yep.
Because if the Ravens get that touchdown, Lamar Jackson scores, everything changes.
Yep.
He scores that touchdown, then Buffalo's really scrambling. I see where he's coming from. I mean, if I'm coaching, I'm kicking the field goal in that specific game situation. Your defense was winning that game. Like your defense was not playing as bad as they were playing in the previous games by far. So I would trust them in that situation, and it's pouring down rain. But if they get that touchdown, then the Bills have to score, and then it just takes your win percentage to another level if you get the touchdown. So I see where he was coming from, but like in that specific situation, you should have kicked it.
Man, it's Justin Tucker, man. It's not like your kicker was. It's not like you have some scrub from like the very first game of the year with the Bengals and Steelers. It's Justin Tucker.
I don't think the kicker matters because it was at the 2-yard line. That kick is made by fucking 97% of NFL kickers. Any NFL kicker. I don't think it was disrespectful to Justin Tucker. I think John Harbaugh was just trying to. He was scared of Josh Allen. That's what it came down to. He was like only up by a field goal. Josh Allen gonna score a touchdown. Fuck that. I'm going for the win right now.
Not if you trust that D. I mean, like you said, Josh Allen wasn't being like a world beater yesterday on Sunday.
No, but he was making some plays.
He was.
Like I said, both of those quarterbacks handled the rush for both of those teams extremely well. Extremely well for the conditions and just the game. Like that second half of the game, it was pouring.
Because now you look at it with the Ravens thing too. That's another game this year they've given away.
Yeah, second game that they blew in the second half. Well,
And
not even the second half. It was only 17-10 going to halftime. But yeah,
and
not as
depend
bad as the Dolphins game.
and depending on what happens at the end, it was against two teams who have the tiebreaker over you now. If you all have the same record, even though the Bills are going to win their division, but like Miami and stuff like that, and they might lose again because one of the games that we're previewing is they got Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, let's get into the preview. So we got Bengals at Ravens Sunday Night Football. Bengals are a 3-point underdog. This is the Bengals' first Sunday night game since 2018.
Wow.
Lost to Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes' first year starting. Dolphins won last week against the Bengals won last week against the Dolphins in that game where Tua got carted off. I feel terrible for him. Like, that shit sucks. Bengals swept the Ravens last season 41-17 in week 41 to 17 in week 7 and 41 to 21 in week 16. No Lamar Jackson. Bengals are 16th in DVOA. Ravens are 3rd. DVOA really likes them, even though they given up those leads. Ravens, like you said, the defense is not what it used to be. They give up real stat. They give up the most yards per game. They're giving up 302 passing yards per game. I really don't know who's going to win this game, honestly. Like, there's a couple of like outcomes that I can see happening with this game. There's one outcome where I see the Bengals just lining them up with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd, and it's a rout. And I can also see the Bengals not blocking and getting Joe Burrow destroyed. So it's a big game for both teams. I mean, the winner of this game is going to be first place in the division, so they got a lot to play for in this game next week. I think the Ravens are going to be pretty pissed off after giving up that game. So I think the Ravens are going to win. But shit, if I'm betting, I'm probably taking Cincinnati, honestly.
It's one of those things like where I don't think the Bengals defense could stop the Ravens offense. The Ravens offense can go. But obviously the Ravens defense cannot stop the Bengals offense. So who's going to get that last stop? And Joe Burrow, they've been playing better. Like, he hasn't been hit like he was the last time we proved, because he was getting smacked around last time we were on. I think the Bengals win this one, man. I do. I think the Bengals win this outright. I think they win by a touchdown, maybe even more, because that's secondary for the Ravens is bad.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta see. It's a divisional matchup, so you gotta throw out some of the stats that we are reading here. Like, they know what each team wants to do, so I don't think it's going to be over a touchdown unless we see a fourth quarter like they did against the Dolphins. And I just don't think the Ravens defense is that bad. I don't know what the deal is, but we'll know on Sunday if they're really that bad, because then it'll be like 3 weeks in a row where they're just playing terrible.
Other game we are previewing is the Dallas Cowboys at the Rams. How about your Cowboys, Justin? 3-1?
Oh, I don't know how we're doing it. Well, I do know how we're doing it.
Well, there's a guy named Michael Parsons on the team, so
yeah, the defense is really good. Cowboys, we're going to LA. We're going to LA Sunday night Fox. I mean, not Sunday night, Sunday afternoon Fox late game. We beat the Washington team 25-10. Rams won the last matchup in the regular season, week 1 of the 2020 season. Cowboys are rated 6 in DVOA, 5th defensively in DVOA. The Rams are 26 in DVOA. The offense is 26 and the defense is 18. Both of these offenses are pretty constipated, but I like where the Cowboys offense is trending way more than I like the Rams offense right now. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Cowboys homer. Like, the Rams have been playing like shit, but they're going to bounce back against us. They're not going to play as bad as they did on Monday. I expect them to run the ball a lot more than they did against San Francisco. The running game was not there on Monday because San Francisco wasn't giving them any lanes to run. We gave up 142 yards to Washington on the ground. So I definitely think the Rams are going to get back to basics and turn around and give it off to Akers and Henderson. The Cowboys are second in the NFL in sacks with 15 this year. Philly is first with 6. Like I said, I like the way the Cowboys offense is trending. We got Michael Gallup back. He scored a touchdown last game. CeeDee Lamb has been playing a lot better since that week 1 game against the Bucks, and then that drop against the Giants. He's been picking it up a little bit. Dak is trying to come back for this game, but if I'm the Cowboys, I'm sitting him until next week. Let him come back against the Eagles, because that's honestly a way more important game than this one. And he literally had surgery like 3 weeks ago. Give him some more time to rest. Motherfucker had surgery. But Cooper Kupp, I'm worried about him. But like I said earlier about the Rams, no one else can get open on that team. I believe Dan Quinn's going to have some stuff for him. I think the Cowboys are going to win this game outright.
I don't disagree with you on anything the stuff said, but there was something you said. It was the second to last sentence. How you guys play the Eagles next week, and that game's more important than this. The Rams got to win. That's why I'm taking the Rams, because they have to win this game. You can't be going. They need to win, because then if they lose this game with the way that we talked about how they're playing, that can only get to Cooper, like yada yada. They're going to have some issues going forward, especially in their own division, because like you said, they'll have San Francisco again. And if they don't beat y'all, I mean, you're 2-3. You don't want to be 2-3. We're getting to the point, too, where next time we come back, we're going to be near the end of October, and that's going to be 2 months of football down. So you need to get these wins. You got to win. So I'm taking the Rams. Cooper Kupp gets 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I can definitely see the Rams winning the game. I already bet on this game. I think the Cowboys plus 4.5.
Okay.
The Cowboys will cover. The Cowboys will cover that game. And I think they're going to win the game, too. This isn't college. No one's looking ahead to the Eagles. We're not thinking about the Eagles already, because we play them niggas twice a year all the time. So there ain't no look ahead spots in the NFL. This isn't college football. I think the Cowboys can get it done. I really do.
Right,
I am worried about the rush, so I think the Rams are really going to come out and try to pound it, though.
I am taking the Rams on that. Justin, you have a new segment that you want to do. What are we doing?
Yes, I stole this from the Fox show Speak, because this is crazy. I think this is like the first time this has happened after 4 weeks. Literally half the league. I put the Giants in here too to make it 16, and I don't really believe in them. They're 3-1. They're not 2-2, but the Giants are in this as well. So literally half the goddamn league is 2-2. So we're about to tell you if these teams are contenders or pretenders.
All right. Who are we starting with?
We will start with the New York Jets, 2-2. Just beat the Steelers this past weekend. Martin, contender or pretender?
Pretender.
Damn, that was easy.
No, they're not good. They're not a good team. Even though they won that game, Kenny Pickett came in. I don't know how you check in and throw like 3 picks. That's just ridiculous. And
2 of them weren't really his fault. But
that is true. But when the game is over, interceptions show 3. They don't say whose fault it was. But they're not good. Zach Wilson came back after his injury. He did not look good at all. They're pretenders. They're not doing anything.
He was going that last drive though.
He was good when it counted. He was. I will give him that. But why? You think they're contenders?
Hell no. I'm just trying to give the Briar picture. I think the Steelers really suck. And it was Kenny Pickett's first NFL action. You know, that shit happens. We can give that young man a pass for throwing 3 picks in literally his first game off the bench.
I don't know if I can, man. He played 4 years literally in Pittsburgh. Like, he has experience, and we don't give time to quarterbacks anymore. We don't. It's the truth.
His first game, dog.
It's the truth.
Literally the first time he went out there.
I'm just saying, you look at the league. If he's this bad by next year, he'll already be out. I'm just saying, this is how the league is. If they're the last team, they're going to be drafting Bryce Young or CJ or the guy from Kentucky now.
Well, they're not going to be as bad as some of the teams that I think really suck in this league, like Carolina. I think the Carolina Panthers are the worst team in the NFL.
They have a win. The Texans haven't even won a game yet.
True, but they should have won that game. Fucking no, who they beat? I don't know. The Browns beat them. Who they beat? I don't even know who the Carolina Panthers beat.
They beat the Saints. I think they beat the Saints.
They beat the Saints?
No, it wasn't the Saints. It was I'll pull it up. But here's the thing: why the NFL is so crazy? Because they're one play away from being 2-2. The first game against the Browns, they drove them down the field. They lost because of a 60-yard field goal.
So, yeah, that's a game that I was getting ready to say they won, but they lost that game because I had the Panthers in that game. They just that's the worst team. Like Baker Mayfield is horrible. Like at this point, he is trash. Like that game against
they did. They beat. That's what I was saying. They beat your NFC South champs, the Saints.
Oh God!
Again, I can't say a team's the worst team in the league if there's a team with no wins.
Yes, you can.
Nah, I can't do that.
Yes, you can. Yes, you
can. I can't do that. And then they play better. The freaking Texans are in the AFC South, and they have no wins.
Hey, the Texans are feisty, and Davis Mills is their quarterback.
They're
so you know how shit be going with them. Hey, they be covering. The only game they lost against the spread is last week against the Chargers, and they almost came in and backdoored that bitch.
Well, the Chargers have their own problems, so that's something too.
Next 2-2 team, the Cleveland Browns, contender or pretender?
This is another team. They are literally two plays away from being 4-0. But that's how the NFL goes. They're a feisty pretender. They will cause some people problems, ruin some people's seasons, but no, they're pretenders. They win these next 3 games. If they have a winning record by the time Deshaun Watson comes back, I have the right to change my pick.
I think I want to say the Browns are a contender, even though that game against the Falcons was complete bullshit. I don't know what they were doing in that second half because Atlanta told you in that second half, we don't trust Marcus Mariota anymore. And they just turned around and handed that ball off, and they were gushing the Browns. They look like the Browns. They look like what the Browns do to teams with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt.
Well, Browns also can't score in the red zone. They haven't been able to score in the red zone since Kevin Stefanski's been the head coach. Like, they need to get that figured out. You have Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, and you can't get in red zone. He also had a play, too, where it was early, and he went for it on 4th down, didn't get it, then you lose by 3 when you could have just taken the field goal. Again, hindsight, but this is how the NFL works. They care about the analytics, but at the end of the day, like we said on thing, Sunday, did you win or did you lose? That is all that matters. So, but they are 2-2 up there with the Ravens and the Bengals.
I think the Browns can do some things. I love their running game. I love Nick Chubb. I love Kareem Hunt. I think if they can get their defense turned around, because they got the guys. I just don't know what's going on with them defensively, but if they can get the defense turned around, they can they might be able to sneak in. I do like the Browns. They play a brand of football that wins in the playoffs. That running game
they just have to get there.
Yeah, that running game is special.
And they play the Chargers. So, and also shout out to Myles Garrett being all right after that horrific accident. If you saw the car, it looked bad.
I didn't see it, but get well soon, Myles.
They play the Chargers this week. So if they win that game, we're having a whole different conversation.
And they can absolutely win that game.
Who else we got?
Baltimore.
Oh, man. They should be 4-0. Lamar Jackson is playing spectacular. And from my organizational standpoint, the Ravens are dumb. You should have just paid him before the season because he's looking really good. So you're going to have to pay him more. That was your fault. I'm going to say contender. Go ahead.
I think they're a contender too. We already went through them enough earlier in the podcast. Let's get to the Cincinnati Bengals.
Contender.
Yeah, we agree on that one. The Jacksonville Jaguars.
All right, currently 2-2, tied for the top spot in the AFC South with the Tennessee Titans, which I didn't even realize the Titans won 2 games because they suck too. I'm going to have to give you props on what you said earlier in the year before anything that they could win the AFC South. And right now I believe you. And I think they're going to win the AFC South since they're going to win the AFC South. they are going to be contenders.
Yeah, I'm really high on Jacksonville. They played. It was pouring in Philly this past game. Trevor Lawrence fumbled 4 times. I don't think he's ever played in the rain before, for being honest. But yeah, they got Houston and Indy the next 2 weeks. I don't think they're going to beat Indy, but and then the Giants and Denver after that. But I can see them going 3-1 in that little stretch. So yeah, Jacksonville's a contender. Next team, their AFC South rival, the Tennessee Titans.
The pretender. They don't have enough. They don't have enough to compete. I honestly think, since we talked about college a little bit, since Odell Beckham is treating his injury like he's college recruiting, that Tennessee needs to do whatever it takes to get him in that locker room so they have a deep threat wide receiver down the field. But until then, pretender.
I agree, even though the Titans did have Derrick Henry had a vintage Derrick Henry performance against the Colts last game. But we don't believe in the Colts too much.
They are terrible.
Yeah, we don't like them. On the L7C. Let's get to the AFC West, the Los Angeles Chargers.
I want to say fraudulent, but I almost want to say that whole division besides the Chiefs are fraudulent. So, last podcast, and obviously listen to it if you haven't, you and Mitch talked about the Chargers having the best roster in the league.
I think so. Absolutely.
I don't disagree, but it's just something about them that I'm like, man, what is happening? But they're 2-2. They got the Browns. They have a pretty favorable Denver. I will say they're contenders. I still think they're going to make the playoffs, still make noise. I do think everyone needed to calm the hell down on saying Justin Herbert was going to be the next Aaron Rodgers. Like, we needed to calm that down. Let's get them to the playoffs first before we start saying that. But I'm going to say contender right now.
Yeah, I think they're a contender. They're dealing with injuries. Their center's out. I think Rashawn Slater, their tackle's not playing, and Keenan Allen's out. They just need to get healthy. Once they get healthy, I think the Chargers will be fine. The Denver Broncos.
Pretender. They won't make the playoffs. Their offense is god-awful terrible. I mean, they got some points last time. They aren't good. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're pretenders.
Yeah, I'm with you. I took Denver to win against the Raiders. They're getting +2.5. I'm like, why the hell are the Raiders favored against anyone?
They shouldn't, because they're trash.
I thought Denver could get their offense right against the Raiders defense, which is god awful, and yeah, they couldn't do it.
No,
that was really telling. Like, I think I learned something about the Broncos. I don't think they're going to turn around either. Like, it's bad. Like,
they're not good. I also think head coach is way above his pay grade. I don't think he was ready.
He don't look ready.
No,
he definitely don't.
Mm-mm. Who's up next?
All right, let's get to the NFC. 3-1 team, but come on now, the New York Giants.
I'm gonna say pretender, but I'm also gonna say that the NFC least, what people used to call the NFC East right now. I mean, I can't even lie. You got a 4-0, 3-1, 3-1. You play who's in front of your schedule, and right now, the NFC East is winning games. But I do think that they are pretenders. They have that game against Green Bay. If they go,
it's in London.
Yeah, it's in London. If they go 2 and if they can beat Jackson. I can see them beating Jacksonville or Seattle. You go 2-2, that puts you to 5-3. I mean, 5-3 by the end of October. That's good. Like, that puts you in a decent position, but I don't think they'll do that. But I think they're pretenders, but they have exceeded expectations because I didn't think they'd win 3 games this year.
This gives me last year Panther vibes, even though I think the Panthers, at least offensively, looked way better than the Giants do offensively right now.
They're one Saquon injury away from being done again.
Yeah, because the Giants really don't have any receivers. I don't believe in the quarterback at all. Saquon Barkley is amazing. He had this motherfucker. He had a play on Sunday where it was either handoff or a screen pass. He caught the ball in reverse field to get a first down. Just some stupid shit, like crazy athletic. Even after all the injuries, like that man is something. If if the Giants do and start losing and they want to think about trading them, that'll be completely idiotic because he's their best player. Someone can get a good back if they do think about that. Next 2-2 team, Chicago Bears.
Their offense is horrific. They're 2-2 off of miracles of monsoons against the 49ers and all that, but no, they're pretenders. It's good for the league if Chicago is winning since they're a historic franchise, but their offense has extreme limitations. They don't trust Justin Fields throwing it. I wouldn't trust him throwing it either because he has no one to throw to because the offensive skill weapons there are trash besides David Montgomery, but they're not good. They're pretenders.
I agree with you. I put Tampa Bay on here in the notes. I said they're fine. That's what I put. So they're not a pretender.
Oh, they are 2-2. Yeah, I don't really. Only thing would say is that they got all their weapons back this game against Kansas City. They were able to move the ball. They'll be fine as long as they keep the injuries at a minimum.
Yeah, that's something you can't really control, though.
All right, it's not, but as long as no one gets hurt for the season, then they're fine.
The Atlanta Falcons.
Don't know how they're 2-2 either. Because their offense, they have a generational talent in Kyle Pitts. You don't draft a tight end, the highest position ever for a tight end at like fourth, and then you don't throw him the ball. So that's also a coaching thing. Marcus Mariota, we both know he's a stop gap quarterback for the Falcons until they get the quarterback of their choice in the draft. They are pretenders, but hey, I do love their stadium though, but they're pretenders.
I don't know about the Falcons.
Really?
I kind of like them. First of all, these motherfuckers are 4-0 against the spread. They covering. I like the Falcons. I mean, Drake London can score a little bit. Shit, they were running the ball pretty well against Cleveland last game. Cordell Patterson went on IR, so he's going to be gone for at least 4 weeks. So they're going to have the backup running backs. I don't know. They're a little plucky team. I don't know. These next 2 games, I think they're going to take some L's. Tampa Bay and San Francisco. So that's 2-4. But Cincinnati, Carolina, I don't know. They can definitely won't beat the Panthers. The Panthers, like I said, are the worst team in the NFL. But they're kind of plucky. They're a pretender, but watch out for them. Watch out for the Falcons. And then we have the whole NFC West. The whole NFC West is 2-2.
Yep, I'm looking at it right now. I said at the beginning of the year how last year, when we were talking about the NFC playoffs and we were going through predictions, how the NFC West got 3 teams in last year. 3. Yeah, obviously the Rams who won the Super Bowl, the 49ers who went to the NFC Championship game should have beat the Rams. And then you have the Cardinals, who the Cardinals are the best front-running team we've had since we started the L7C podcast. Typically, they start good. So if I say contender, it's all 4 of them. And so if I say pretender, we're doing the league, that division.
No, I just wanted to say that the whole NFC West is 2-2 right now.
Oh, because if I have to take the division, I would say contender, like the division. I mean, doesn't mean the Seahawks, but shout out to the Seahawks who don't thought they'd be 2-2. But that league's reminding people like F the AFC West, we're still the best division in the league.
Specifically, because we believe in the 49ers.
Oh yeah, they're going to the playoffs. They might make the Super Bowl, but
the Rams. I mean, they won the Super Bowl. We're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They're defending champs, so we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. We're going to say they're a contender, but they haven't been looking like it. Arizona, that's the team. That's really. I don't think Seattle's going to keep this up. Honestly, it's Arizona because they got some players coming back. They got D-Hop coming back. Mm-hmm. They're still winning games. I don't like the Cardinals, but they're winning games right now. So once they get D-Hop back, I don't know what they can do. Like, I don't know. I want to say they're a contender because I'm done with Cliff Kingsbury. He can't beat the Rams, and he can't win late in the season. He's already proven that. He might be able to change it this year, but the Cardinals are out with me. they won me some money last week against the Panthers because the Panthers are that bad. But I don't know. They
They're
got some guys
tough.
coming back though.
They're a tough pick because every year they've made the playoffs. Like they've improved. But like you said, you're getting one of the best wide receivers back. That's going to change your offense completely. And they win, like you said. So, and you're just looking at the rest of the NFC. Like you're 3-1 Giants, you already said they're not going to be able to hold on for long. So that's going to take them out. Bears are going to be out. So that's them. Falcons, you said they're plucky, question mark. Seahawks aren't going to be there for long. So let's just say you take all those teams out. Two teams from the NFC North, Minnesota, Green Bay. I currently, because I still don't know if Dallas is going to make the playoffs. Depends on how they do. Then you got the NFC East, Eagles, Cowboys. So two of those would be division champs. Two would be wild cards. Only one team from the South's going, and that's Tampa Bay. And then you got the West, and you can get some teams in. So it's tough. I almost put them in the Atlanta thing, like the question mark.
Before you go, I have the current playoff standings
Perfect.
right now as of week 4 going into week 5 of the NFL season. Our number 1 seed, we started the playoffs right now. The Philadelphia Eagles.
Which we called, actually.
Yeah, they're 4-0 right now. They haven't lost yet. They're so they don't have the bye right now. They're leading to get the bye at the moment. Second seed is the Minnesota Vikings at 3-1. They have the tiebreaker over Green Bay because of the head-to-head matchup.
Which we said they would be the top 2. I don't know if they'll last that long. No offense, but
yeah, we'll see. Tampa Bay is the third seed. They got the tiebreaker over San Francisco based off strength of schedule, which that's not going to matter towards the end of the season. That tiebreaker won't matter. It's just early. Fourth seed is the San Francisco 49ers. Got the tiebreak over the Rams and the Cardinals and the Seahawks based on head-to-head win percentages.
Okay.
These tiebreakers or something. Fifth seed, my Dallas Cowboys. Tiebreak over Green Bay based off strength of victory.
Okay.
And we beat the Giants head-to-head, who is our sixth seed. 6 seeds, the Giants, as of right now. 3-1 team. And then we have the Green Bay Packers rounding out the 7th seed. And then 8 and 9 are the Rams and the Cardinals, 10's the Falcons.
Okay, so the Giants will drop out, so that'll open a spot open. That's very interesting as of week 5. That's very, very almost called it to a T. I know we have some like differences of like the Bucks and the Cowboys and all that, but almost to a T at the current moment.
The Saints are the only glaring team out there.
They're not making the playoffs. They're not good. They're not good.
Yeah. I picked them to be so good, so my judgment's not very good with them right now. So we'll see how they do in the next game. James Woodson has proven that he sucks.
That London game, I know we didn't cover, but they did drive all the way down the field. If it wasn't for like a double doink, they would have gone to overtime, yada yada. But it's one of those things like where you have a defense, you're realizing that you drafted really well because Chris Olave has proven he might be that dude out there.
We knew that. Yeah. I know you definitely knew that.
But then again, the league might not have. So then when you get a fully healthy Michael Thomas, it's like you're seeing what you have. And again, if you just plug a quarterback in there, you're off to the races. Like a good quarterback, a train. But who else? Go ahead.
What were you about to say?
I was going to say who else we had on here because I was like, who else is 2-2?
Oh, no, that was everyone.
Oh, okay.
That was everyone. Well, shit, since I got pulled up, let's go to the AFC playoff picture. Since I got it pulled up. So the AFC, our number 1 seed currently right now is the Miami Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
They have the tiebreak over Kansas City based off best win percentage in conference games. Kansas City is the 2 seed. The Jacksonville Jaguars are 3. The Cleveland Browns are the 4th seed. They're currently leading the AFC North right now. Who would figure that? 5th seed's Buffalo. 6th seed is the Bengals. And I'm not even about to read this damn tiebreaker because they have a lot right now. And the Tennessee Titans are the 7th seed. and the Ravens and Jets are the two looking in right now, with the Chargers right behind them.
Yeah, that's going to be a complete makeover by the next time we come back in 2 weeks, but nothing too crazy. Besides, like you said, the Browns with the percentage like leading. Again, you were right. They have all the players. So if Deshaun is anything, if they stay afloat and Deshaun is anything what he was, look out.
Yeah, the Browns are good. Browns are a good football team.
Look out for him, especially next year when Deshaun will have a full time at camp.
Yeah, the horny man himself.
Yeah, that is him. That is him.
They need to just put a big ass H on his fucking chest. Replace number 4 with just say H, and you know what that stands for. You know what it fucking stands for, because that guy is nasty.
I still don't understand who in the NFL decided the game he should come back is at Houston.
That's just sick, bro. Like, that is just some sick shit.
That's a huge overcast. Justin, you had, before we close, winners and losers of the week. You had some winners. Who was your winner and loser at this time?
My winner was the Buffalo Bills. They stayed away from being in the 2-2 mix by coming back and beating the Ravens. They had the best one of the day on this past week, so I had to give it to them, Buffalo. And then my loser is the Carolina Panthers. I mean, they are just
so on their ass today.
Bro, like they keep doing this shit, bro. Like they keep trying to avoid getting a quarterback. I think, we can just get the next retread guy, the former number 1 pick, the former number 2 pick with fucking Sam Darnold. You also need to tank and get a new fucking quarterback at this point. Like, they suck. I guess I almost put them as the winner, because now they know that Baker Mayfield is nothing, that he is not good, that he can't fucking do it anymore. So they can just tank it and get CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, or Will Levis, because they need someone else. They need a new guy. Matt Rule's probably getting canned. So I guess you can call them a winner, because now they know, like, yeah, complete overhaul time. But yeah, they're a loser for me. They let the Cardinals come in and drag them at home. That game sucked. They sucked. The Cardinals suck. And you lost to a team that sucks. Just terrible.
Well, besides the quarterback, that team has always they've had issues for years. They don't draft well. They got McCaffrey, but McCaffrey's always hurt. Their line is bad. Their receivers aren't great. So they need a whole overall.
The funny thing is, I took the Cardinals. Like, I knew that the Cardinals were probably going to beat them. Like, that's what I was betting. And they still disgusted me. I was still disgusted having even watched that game. The Cardinals were bullshitting that game too. They almost didn't win. But yeah, I'm sick of the Carolina Panthers. Sick. I can't believe they beat the Saints. Byron Saints. I can't believe that shit.
Yeah, and that's when I knew the Saints weren't not great. I'm currently right now. My winner actually is different. It actually is a 2-2 team. It actually hometown. It's actually the Cincinnati Bengals. Reason being is because last time we were here, they were 0-2. And that was bad. They needed to get a win, and they did against the Jets, and they won this last week against Miami. Now they're 2-2 with a chance to beat the Ravens and be 3-2, because I also thought they were winners because everyone in their division lost. Ravens lost, Browns lost, Steelers lost. They won. They're 2-2. They're back in it. They just got to win their division, and then they're back in the dance. So they were my winners just because everyone else lost, and they're back in it for the AFC North. My loser, actually, to really highlight it, wasn't a team per se. My loser was the NFL. Because obviously with the incident with Tua Tagovailoa, if you watch the NFL, you know one thing they truly do not like is bad press.
Nope.
And that is why they're my loser, because God knows when it's people who aren't ESPN and it's ABC, CBS, Fox, all those news people talking about them, you know it's bad. And they absolutely despise bad press, and the way that Tua situation was handled was completely horrible. And just from a future thing, I was listening to Ryan Clark and some others talk about it. It's like there's already people who will not let their kids play football in the future because of stuff like that. But when you saw Tua's hands go away, I didn't think hands can go when you got a concussion. there were other new parents saying, yeah, you're never playing football, which obviously you want your sport to continue growing because they want to be international, which I get the London stuff, but they're not an international sport. Let's just stop that. But again, they hate bad press. They got a shit ton of bad press this week. And until this stuff's resolved, they fired one of the neurologists. There'll probably be some more stuff coming down the pipeline with investigations with the Players Association and all that. But NFL was my loser for this week. And Roger Goodell was at the game too, which you already know. As soon as that happened, he was already out getting lawyers. Like, we're about to go through another phase of bad publicity. So they're my losers for the week.
Man, watching that Thursday night game last week, my dumbass fell for it. When Tua got German suplex on the turf and his fucking fingers were doing the shit, they said it was a back injury. So I was like, oh shit, like it gotta be his spine, which is why I thought his fingers were all fucked up. I thought his spine got fucked up because I believed that it was actually a back injury. But yeah, he had no business trying to come back after the hit that he took against the Bills and was wobbling. And he came back into that game, and then yeah, it's just a bad look. It's just a terrible look. He gets concussed on Sunday, and then gets tried back out on Thursday, and then doesn't even make it through the first half of the game.
Yeah, so that is why they might lose it for the week. And then they'll get it all resolved, and hopefully they don't have any more crazy things happen this season, because obviously last year, Deshaun, Urban, Gruden, NFL hates that stuff. They just want you to focus on watching the games and betting your money in fantasy football or BetMGM, whatever you use. They never want controversy. So that's why they're losers. Justin, anything else, man, before we close? I do like the contender pretender segment. That was fun.
Yeah, man. Everyone's 2-2 right now. It's 16 teams. Yeah, we might have to keep that going. But yeah, I'm pooped. I told you everything I had to say today.
Okay. Are we gonna have a whole bunch of teams 3-3 next time we're back?
We will see.
All right. With that being said, thank you everyone for listening to L7C podcast. Make sure you like, rate, comment, subscribe wherever you listen. YouTube, Apple, Google, Spotify, wherever. We appreciate your guys' support that you've been showing us 2 years going now. We really appreciate that. And make sure you check out our games of the week. That Sunday night football game with the Ravens, Bengals, and also the Rams, Cowboys. And with that being said, this is the L7C podcast signing out. Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.